G'day, it's Karl from Mastertech Marine here. This afternoon we're going to be talking about maintenance, and in particular we're going to be talking about maintenance on Evinrude ETEC outboard motors. This particular engine that we're doing maintenance on is a 200 horsepower HO, or what we call the big block ETEC, and when an engine gets to a certain age they do require maintenance and preventative maintenance. So in this particular case this engine requires a gasket job done on it and some other work while we're doing that. We are the only Evinrude ETEC dealer in the Bay of Plenty in the Tauranga area, and we specialise in this product, and we've got the training and the ability to be able to do the maintenance that's required. And a big part of that is having the factory training and all of the feedback from the factory of what maintenance the engines are required to have, and the timelines, and also the likes of service information, which is online, and obviously service manuals as well. So to do the job properly you need that information. You also need to have diagnostic equipment as well, which has regular updates, and that's a very, very important thing. So with the engine itself, the power head on a regular basis about every 3 to 5 years needs to be taken off and the gaskets replaced. And then we're going to talk about, once the power head is off, what maintenance is required. So we'll take a closer look at that. We've got a power head sitting on the bench, we've got some other exhaust components here. We'll have a talk about that and provide you with the information that you need to know. Okay, now that we've got the ETEC apart, we can show you some components on the engine that need to be attended to. On the left here we have the old housing. On the right hand side we have a reconditioned housing. Now this is the exhaust housing that the power head sits on. It does a pretty important job, and it has a gasket on it that seals the power head and seals the water in the galleries to keep the engine cool, but it seals it away from the exhaust system. What's happened in this case is that it's gotten hot in this area here, water has got in the exhaust and it's done a bit of damage. This engine here should have had the gaskets done some time ago. It hasn't been done, and a lot of the damage that's occurred in this area is as a result of that. You can see salt build up in this area here, and it just needs to be maintained and have that maintenance done on it. So an example of a base gasket is this particular component here. You can see the salt build up on it on both sides. That needs to be regularly changed. Really it's a maximum of about 5 years is about as much as you can get out. Ideally really it should be 3 yearly that these gaskets are done. If they're done then you don't get the salt build up, and then you don't get anywhere near as many issues with the engine if you do this, if you do that maintenance. Another example of salt, which is always the thing that we're trying to prevent the engine from getting too much build up of, is I've got a cylinder head here, and this particular cylinder head is off a different brand of outboard motor, but you can see a hole in the cylinder head. That's as a result of salt building up in this area. It's being cleaned off, and literally it has corroded its way through the casting and into the cylinder. So this cylinder head is off an engine that had a major failure basically, and the major failure was as a result of the salt. So we've got to be able to get rid of the salt. How we do that is we take the components apart, clean off the salt, get rid of it, start with fresh gaskets. You won't end up with these issues. A big part of the maintenance is with the lower unit of the engine as well. So all outboard motors will have a water pump in them that needs to be maintained. This particular engine is off an ETEC as well, and this low unit. And what you've got is water pump impeller, water pump housing, and seals in the lower unit. Once again, salt is something that we've got to try and prevent and reduce, so we're always cleaning these surfaces up to try and remove salt. The water pump itself has a lot of water going through it to keep the motor cool. This is the impeller, and that particular component is a part that wears and needs to be checked regularly. We recommend that you check your water pump impeller at least once per year, seasonally. It's in the area of the engine that basically works very, very hard, and if your motor's not running cool, then it's likely to be giving trouble. So very important. Same with your gearbox oil, it should be checked seasonally, and also your seals and your gear case pressure tested. We're finding we're getting a lot of people that are getting the likes of fishing line in their propeller shafts, a lot of braid in that around. It's winding its way into gearboxes, destroying seals, We're seeing a lot more gearbox failures these days as a result of that. Doing annual servicing will prevent this because we'll find it, hopefully before it's done too much damage. And in a lot of cases in the last season, that's exactly what we've done. We've found a motor's come in, we've pulled the propeller off, found line, got rid of the line, the gearbox is fine. We've also had cases where they haven't been attended to, and all of a sudden you've got a major problem. So a lot of it is preventative maintenance. Same with fuel filters. You should be replacing your fuel filter like this, and all engines have different styles of filter, but they should be being done annually. You do get a build-up of moisture in fuel systems. All engines will get some form of moisture in the fuel system one way or another in the boat. Very important to get rid of it. At Mastertech Marine, we are the Bay and the Tauranga area's only authorised Evinrude dealer. That's really important because we're the only ones that get given the software updates from the factory weekly. When your engine comes in, it automatically gets checked for software updates, and we'll do it free of charge if your boat's in for a service. So you can be rest assured that you've got the latest software, the best updates, and making sure that your engine is running 100%. We have all the diagnostic equipment that gets updated as well, and it's really important to make sure that the right parts and genuine parts are going in your engine. We can guarantee we only use genuine parts on Evinrude and Johnson, and we're going to give you an example of one thing that gets regularly missed. Okay, this is a great example of often when we see mix-ups with parts. These two components here are two water pump housings that look almost identical to each other, but they are actually different, and they are for two different models of engines. We see this all the time when guys who are not trained, where they get it wrong. So this water pump housing here is used for a specific model of Evinrude engine, and it does not have a bleed hole in the housing. So that particular component is only used on certain models. We then have the other model of housing, and in the corner it has a bleed hole. That bleed hole is really important on other models of Evinrude engines and Johnson engines as well. And if you mix up these two housings with each other, you could actually end up with pretty catastrophic problems with the engine, overheating and often failures. So important to deal with the right dealer. For all your maintenance requirements, give us a call on 07 579 4240, or you can have a look at our website www.mastertech.co.nz. We're here to help you, protect your investment, and give us a call if you want some help or some information. We're more than happy to share what we know and help you to learn about what you need to do to keep your boat shipshape. Thank you.